you that have joined me, I certainly appreciate that. I did want to come on tonight as we're in the process of celebrating Matzvah, unleavened. We'll close on the first day of this week. We will close after the Shabbat. Now, Zokim will be teaching us. And I really want to talk to us tonight. Certainly pray that others join us, or they will certainly be able to listen to this. On the subject of these corrupt lies, these false feast days, they have lied to us, nation. And I was sitting here just looking, and I Google from Microsoft Bing, and also I have Oprah open. These my search engines. You that are thoroughly knowledge, you understand what I'm saying. And when I look at the lies that are purported taught to us, and lies that with no conscience of these lies, that we just buy them. We buy them. My friend Pretty Yabruch in Jamaica, may the riches Yah rest upon your home and all upon that nation. And what I do, I see 1,500,000 results for one subject, simply 13th month Jewish year. And we all have access. We can do that. You mean it's not a difficult thing to do, but we do not want to challenge ourselves to see how wrong I am, how I have violated the Torah of Yah. We don't want to challenge ourselves, so we don't want to hear it. There was a friend, I thought he was my friend, and I was careful by telling him, I say, give me your feast days for the last 3 years. And because I knew from 2023 to 2024 will be 383 days, 84. I can't remember exactly. And when I talked with him to show him, my friend, how do you get 386 days, 83 days? He turned against me like a pit viper. Well, how can you argue something or debate something that the elements of it is false? Simply a lie. How do we do that? How do we ascertain that? By holding on to those lies. And it was no one that taught me this or showed me, but I said something is wrong. How is this? What is the mandate of Torah to add a 13th month? I want to read the first page here on Google, on the Microsoft Bing. It says this: in the Jewish calendar, a 13th month is added in some years to align the lunar base year with the solar year. This additional month is called Adar 2, also Adar Shenai, or Adar Bet. The Jewish leap year occurs 7 times in 19 years. I simply ask people, show me where the Torah talks about a Jewish leap year, or even a leap year, which this kind of graphics or terminology, it was only into the 15th century it began to develop. And this is what a Jewish year consists of. Nation, listen to me. I have thousands of pages. I'm a student. I'm not like this generation of men that know, and they have not even spent time in Torah or even research. No one taught me this. No one even mentioned this to me. But when I began the concept of what was taught, or I had learned by the pattern of others, I say, this is wrong. And I knew that people would turn against me, and they did. I knew that there would be very little relationship because we rather teach a lie just like Jesus Christ, the Lord God. There are many gods. He's not even in the category of a God. He's not even in the category of a Lord. Hamashiach is not in that category. He is the most supreme. So how can you classify him as a God? Tell me, nation. And these men are cowards. They will lie to you without even thought of destroying you. They will lie to you. They will not tell you the truth. The Hebrew Israelites that identify as people of my hue came here on the slave ships, but there were those here before one that identify by the concept, that's what I call it, of the Hebrew Israelites. How did those that were the first pioneers, the Indians, how did they get here? They were here before you now. I recall even in the 2000s, how that they would call the Africans dirty, stinking. They were not an African or one from that continent, could not be a Hebrew Israelite. That's crazy. So how your forefathers came and they were Hebrews. It would take a Hebrew to produce a Hebrew, wouldn't it? Just because they were in slavery? This is the damnable ignorance of people that look like me. Easily to be fooled, drawn into delusions. I simply Hebrew Israelites. You said they came from Mizraim. So they went through and picked every Hebrew. There was not one left on that continent. Nations, you must understand words and their meanings in the Hebrew terminology. When Yah talks about spreading his people to different countries, he is talking, the word in the Hebrew tongue of Abraham is erat. That is every part of the world. When he talks about certain nations, he may use the word ulam, which means a particular nation. But when he talks about the world and all over, he is talking about the erats. When your forefathers, mine came, were they every Hebrew Israelite captured and put in slavery? So it was only a few million of them. I'm simply asking you to question. They came out of Mizraim. It was many. You think that they just settled there, they spread it out. They're in every part of the world. Listen, nation. Their skin hue is from the whitest of creamest to the blackest of black. Now, Hebrew Israelites, if you look at your leaders today and all them on, in 2000, there were very few broadcasts of Hebrew Israelites. Believe me, I go all the way back. I'm not a little young boy. I'm a student. And all their prophecies, nothing but lies, and they still hold on to those prophecies of lies. The Holy Ghost preacher that they will all come out of that cadre of those leaders, all of them. Dirty, stinking Africans. I would despise, when I would hear them say that, I despise them. These juvenile homosexual leaders. You got to be that because you have no confidence, many of them, with a wife. They have to have juvenile women that they simply abuse them, use them for some little too many action or 3 or 4 minutes. That's not a husband to a wife. And these were the lies back then in the 2000s, 2019s, 2018, back in that that were being purported, and people buying that. Were buying it. And there were nothing but lies. Look at all the years in their prophecy. Well, they got an explanation when they don't come to pass either. They're nothing but dirty liars. Well, they stopped there in the Caribbean of the islands. Who, of all people, the Americans live rich like haughty pigs. The people of YAH too. Those in the Cuba and all of the places of the islands that they gave them these devilish names and named them. Jamaica, Haiti's, and look, they robbed the Haitians of everything. They were under slavery beyond slavery. They stole, they robbed the riches. And we follow a procedure. I don't care if nobody loves me or wants my fellowship. I don't care when it comes to the truth. A lie is a lie. You can't cover a lie. And when you ask these men, they can't answer. Tell me, my friends, go to any search engine you use, Microsoft Bing, use Google. I got two windows open here. I'm looking at my Google search. I'm looking at my Microsoft Bing, and Google has much more than Bing. And I see that there are 1.5 million some form of data information concerning the 13th month. It is. I will look here at just on the Google page of Oprah, my search engine. It says this. It means that in some years the calendar needs to add an entire extra month. Where is that? In any historical order of time. Show me that, please. Oh, I know there are countries that have different calendars. Chinese, they use the lunar, they use the lunar solar, they use a variety of calendars. But Yah gave us a lunar based upon the appearance, that slither, that chodash. And so a man like me, he's ridiculed, and we will just kick him aside. You can't kick me aside. You may not like what I say, and I have no compunction with that. I simply ask you, show me in Torah. Believe me, I have hundreds, thousands of pages. I didn't start this research yesterday, over the many years. And I research it all the time. Although I know what it is. I know what it is. One of the most prominent websites. It is called Chabad. It is of the Lubavitchi Jews. But the women wear the long, long dresses and the bonnets and all of that. I recall learning of them when I was, let me be accurate, probably close to 50 years ago. Young man, at least 45 plus. And at Christmas time, when they would celebrate Hanukkah, Mr. Menachem Shirson, littlest of man, he was miniature in size, beard, a very beautiful white beard. And I will watch them as you would see countries like all the major cities in like Paris and the French quarters, France, wherever, Germany and Russia, America, New York, California. They will have everyone. And I would be amazed because I was ignorant to those applications. But I will watch them in amazement. And what? I don't watch 5 or 10 minutes. We had a public broadcast station in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we did not get that until, I believe, if I'm precise, until I was in high school. And I would watch it every year. I just like, what that was to say? I just like the performance of it. And when Menahan Shirsan, this diminutive man, and they would sing their songs, and it had this kind of chant to it. Yeah, I know these are not words, but that's how it sounds. Yeah, 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 yeah. It had that kind of rhythmic rhythm. And they were panned to New York, L.A., China, and Russia. They were panned to that. And I would be so impressed because even then the technology was not well. I had one of the first internet subscribers when it first came out, Landline. I had it. And you could go to Harvard, all the major universities that are webpage. Nothing like today. They charge you now. It was free then. I could go and examine things. I didn't have to spend that time catching the bus, going to the library, spending all day Saturday there and all of that. I would. I wanted to know. I didn't understand the depths of Shabbat. And I learned that from a Church of God in Christ preacher. He's deceased now. I learned the name from that kind of preaching from Chicago. And I just began in all of my ignorance to preach in that name. And many abandoned me. Many abandoned me. They didn't know how because they loved this white lie of this nasty, effeminate looking beast they call Jesus. And I say it that way. I'm not concerned about what others say concerning me. I deal with truth. And I would debate, let me put it this way. I would love for someone to explain to me the 13th month. I'll let you talk. And I'm very loquacious. I love to talk. And I'm a defender because that's what I'm for. I'm set for one that will defend this Torah. I'm not going to lie to you. And I am unabashful when it comes to my ignorance. I would tell men I'm an ignorance man. One that is unlearned in a specific, I am. And we all have that nature of ignorance. That's why we're arrogant. When I began to see these things, I just held on to them and I didn't teach them. Because I knew the people would not understand. They didn't know. I was learning. And just one day, my precious Isha, nearly 50 years of marriage, we're getting there closely. Faithful and honorable daughter of Tizayon. I've loved no woman in all my life, but that daughter I love, I cherish. She is a precious gem from Hashemayim. I did not tell her to use the name. I simply start using the name here. We've been in this community almost 30 years. And I recall her, I have a little small office here. It's small. And I live in a 16 by 32 house. I had a small house before there were small houses. You understand? I paid $1,500 for it. I bought it from this man that was going to use it to sell fish bait and stuff. And I said, well, I'll take it and tear it. He said, no. He said, no, that preacher. That's the way he talked. He said, my wife and I lived in that house. That was the sound of his voice. That I'm telling you the truth. I said, let me look. And when I looked in it, I told my Isha, she said, oh, Reakdawi, this is so beautiful. And this is where I've been living since I've lived on these grounds, small of smallish. I've added little segments. I added this office. I did build that. And so in the process of that, knowing those things that I did not know, she stepped down out of her quarters, her little office space, And she says to me, I'll never forget, I was sitting right here because this desk, I've always said, is very small, 3 windows here. She says, React, I wait. If this is the truth, you must teach us. And my, it was a great type of, it was a heavy weight. I didn't want to see the people leave, but I knew they would. And I recall stepping in the dining hall, and I talked for about an hour that day. I taught them the difference between translation and transliteral. Names you cannot translate. If your name is Abuja Shampoom, your name is Abuja Shampoon in English, in Russian, in Chinese. It never translates. The name never translates. It must be transliteral. So my name is David Yisra Yair. It's the same in every nation. Every nation. Every language is the same. So how do you change or give Yeshua HaMashiach? Well, the phonetics, I say it that way, all right. Is that all right? How is the phonetics of that name Jesus? Tell me. It would take us 33 years, and that 33 years represents the very harshness of the battle of Yah's elect people for 400 plus years in the bondage. And then to get to that point after 33 years is a great delight. They reminisce and rejoice. So most people will only see that season if we utilize the calendar of Yah maybe twice in their lifetime. 3 times max as a child, middle-aged man in his 60s. And then if he lives to be 100, he may see that season one time because it represents all of the turmoil and all the complexities and the trial of the nation of his elect as they run for the safety and the arms of Almighty Yah. And we have been lied to. I ask anyone that will hear this simple teaching and the span that it will be up, show me any place in Torah where there's a 13th month. I'm looking at all Jewish material. So I'm not speaking a lie. I'm speaking the truth. I'm not making up anything. I read this from Oprah. It says this, people also ask, what is the 13th month of the Jewish calendar? I asked that too. What is it? It is called Adar, A-D-A-R, and it implies with one of the most violent words you could use to express Yah. It means the lucky month. That's what it means. That's what it implies. Luck, some witchcraft, the lucky month. In a quote, in a Jewish leap year, an extra month is added after the month of Shivat and before the month of Adar. It is called Adar Aleph and Adar Rishon or Adar 1. Refers to also as Adar Bet and Adar Shenai or Adar 2. I simply ask anyone to show me Adar 2. I know that A-D-A-R is in Torah. I simply ask you to show me where there is a specific time of indication concerning the Moedim that there is 2 Adar. I simply ask you that. I'm not here, well, I am, to debate you. But I simply ask you that, show me that in any implication in Torah. This is the question here on time and date. Was the biblical calendar 13th months? It says this quote, The year in the Jewish calendar, we're not talking about the Jewish calendar. We're talking about the original calendar that Yah, he gave us the moon. When David had run from Shaul and had hidden himself, the only time or the only space that he knew that he hid himself in the darkness, when he saw that slither of the moon, he knew that what time it was. But it tells us the year in the Jewish calendar. Well, how can a calendar be a Jewish calendar if it's lunar solar? Because there are multiple types of calendars. If I recall correctly, there are about 116 different types of calendars, but he gave us one. He gave us one. The year in the Jewish calendars are counted in a 19 years. People don't even know what that is. When I found out the mechanic, because I searched, and I probably have 500, 1,000 pages that I've searched over the many years and refined it just on the mechanic cycle, what it implies. I can prove it. I do have a nation. Just in that one fall alone, I have 2,700 pages. That's a lot of pages, isn't it? So I didn't do that in a year or two, a few years, a few months. That has come by a calculated research of energy and time and spending time with Yah in the book. And to understand these lies, let me read this again. Was the biblical calendar 13 months? The year in the Jewish calendar are counted in cycles. Please show me that in the Torah of 19 years, of which 12 years are common years of 12 months. This is the statement. 12 months apiece and 7 years are leap years. They are leap years. Show me the word leap year in Torah. Contains 13 months. Show me the 13th month. Identify. Although the 19-year cycle has 235 months, leap years are now fixed. Who told them to fix that? If Yah wanted it fixed that way, I do believe he would have indicated that in the Torah. Those men, they had a greater observation of the heavens above than us, the clear skies, and I don't think they had the complication unless the weather, raining and all that was like it is today. In the cities, you don't even see it. Do you ever see a star in the city? I'm down in the country. I am 60 miles away from Charlotte. When we moved here, all those years ago, the heavens above, you could see the stars and the beauty. We would sit out and just look at stars. The heavens were beautiful. I mean, it was just pristine. We could see all of those stars. Everyone would sit out and just star watch because it was something I didn't see in Charlotte. I lived in Charlotte. And now you very seldom see a star. It's the fact. Charlotte has encroached upon our country style of living. The homes they're building right here in Pageland, they're building 750 homes in a little town of around 3,500 population. The homes they're building in Jefferson, my. And so you're bringing in this new type of attitude, buppies and yuppies and homosexuals and twisted families in the sense that there is no moral. I'm getting old. I hate that for my babies and those that are coming. Growing up to have wives is sad. I was telling the young Achim, I've gotten offers for our land. We give you this much money. I know the value of this land. It's a land of gold, and I'm not going to live to see what proceeds from me. But I know that we have those that will maintain the course of this righteousness. Regardless of how many are here, it makes no difference, period. So they're talking about the cycle of 235. Now, these are lunar months, and they have fixed it. That's why people don't know. And you men that are full of your lies and wicked corruption, why will you not even sit down with a man like me and let's discuss it? Show me. All I want you to do is just pull just one point of these lies into a round. 7-year lunar cycle containing 13 months. That's the way you keep it. A lunar month is according to the lunar cycle of the moon. It is according to the Chodesh, that slither that you see, that silver sliver, and no other. That's what it's about. They use the astronomical application of the department to justify all of these lies. And they are lies. They are lies. I'm reading from the astronomical application department, not the Jews. And it says this, quote, the Jewish calendar. The length of a synodic month used in a Jewish calendar is 29 days, 12 hours, 44 minutes, 3.5 seconds. The year of Jewish calendar are counted in cycles of 19 years. Astronomical, you are. Of which 12 years are common years of 12 months apiece. 7 years are leap years containing 13 months. Altogether, the 19-year, they don't even mention metan or the metonic cycle has 235 months. Leap years are now fixed as the 3rd year, 6th year, 8th year, 11, 14, 17, and the 19th year cycle. There's a volume of information that challenge the authenticity of the word of Yah. We are gullible people. We're gullible. We don't like truth. We don't like people to tell us about ourselves. I'll give you an example. If somebody say, Real David, you fat. Where am I fat? I'm not fat. Well, you're fat, my friend. Your belly is big. Your gut is big. I'm just using that as a scenario. We don't like truth. And the only ones that overcome the power of this, you say to a woman or man, you know you need to lose weight. If he's cognate and conscious of his appearance, he will simply say, you're right. But I'll help you. Same thing with a woman. We get arrogantly angry. I'm using that for an example. Don't be silly. If someone speaks to you in a fashion that is not appropriate to you or you don't like it, you will rise up like a dog out of hell. We're built that way. I'm talking about the 13th month. I want your nation to know that many of these sites years back, they were up here like My Jewish Learning. That website, a Judica guide here, teaches you about the calendar. And let me see what they say. Oh, they all say the same thing. Yes, it says this in Judica, God.com. It says this. How is the extra month added to the Jewish calendar or the Hebrew calendar? When does a new year begin? The Hebrew months. It tells us all the very same things I have read to you already. It talks about the cycle. Each cycle of the month around the sun lasts 29.5 days. To be exact, 29 days, 12 hours, 44 minutes, 3.33 seconds. And therefore, some Hebrew months have 29 months, which Others have 30. However, the Hebrew calendar, that's the Hebrew calendar or Jewish calendar, is not at all unrelated to the solar year. I know it isn't. But the year is based upon the moon. There is a lot of importance of the 4 seasons in the Jewish religion. And some, once every 3 years, an extra month is added to the Hebrew calendar in order for the synchronizing with the solar calendar. My, who gave them the authority to create some fraudulent lie that is so corrupt? From that point of view, the Hebrew calendar is both lunar and solar. Isn't that a monkey's uncle? Excuse me. And then it says this, paragraph 2, according to the Jewish tradition, not according to the Torah of Yah, according to the Jewish tradition, each day begins at sunset. It does. And end at sunset. It does. That is how the Shabbat observation, or it is observed, that it is also how most Jewish holidays are celebrated. How is an extra month added to the Hebrew calendar? That fascinates me. That you could tell a lie like that. Who orchestrated that? Who are the authorities to override Yah? It says the concept of adding a 13th month once every 3 years is called Shana Mu'abret, literally a pregnant year. Some fancy terminology, isn't it? And we are such a gullible, uneducated people. We're such an unlearned people. We buy these fraudulent absurdity of lies. We buy them, nation. I do not buy them. When I find the element of truth and what is presented out of this book, I believe the book. Every word of the book. I will not alter one word. I'm a student that examines a word and its graphics in different languages, and the Greek and the Latin and the English and the Hebrew. I do, nation. And this extra much which is added, Edah, and on such years have Edah Alif and the Edah Bet. There are 2 reasons for the doubling of Adar rather than any other month. Show me, please. I simply ask you to show me that in Torah. Show me any brief analogy. Show me anything that Yah said to the Novi'im. You tell me he didn't tell the prophets. When everything in this book is based upon the authority of the Nobi, the prophets, Novi'im, and he never gave the insight of that, the prophet Moshe, Abraham. We are a crazy, immature people. We don't love truth, nation. And these men will appease you because of money, for the love of money. There was a song back in the 60s, I believe, or 70s, money, 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 money. And that was a song about money. And we are lover of money. That's why the men like the T.D. Jakes of the world, the Benny Hinns, they're multi-millionaires. They live so sumptuously. I live in a little small shack, and I'm as happy, broke as I am, as any man. I'm happy. I'm delighted. I have fellowship with just a few. I've had fellowship with many, and when I would travel different parts of the country, and I have, and I would preach, and there would be those that would love me, and there would be those that would despise me. You know what I'm come here to say. I'm not coming to try to satisfy or to appease you. Present a personality that is proper in your sight. I'm not here for that. Not at all. Never have been. And will not be. These are the lies that are being purported by these men that will tell you they are righteous men. You buy it. Let me go here to, now listen, nation. I did not even examine all this today. I just pulled up two of my engines. Let me read this by Rabbi Daniel Le Pen. Rabbi Le Pen. These are the words of Rabbi Le Pen, Daniel Le Pen. Does a Jewish year really have 13 months? This is his answer. He says unto us, ancient Jewish wisdom on Bereshit, Genesis 1:14, lay out the idea of light. Now the question is, are there many or Jewish years that have 13th month? Let me just speak one chapter I want to read. It is a debate between mathematicians in the late 1500s or the early 1600s. French mathematician Joseph Justus Scaglia claimed that the Hebrew calendar is the most perfect creation of man. Of course, he is accurate, and he is the creation of God, not a man. You see how these devils lie? I'll use that terminology, God, for them. Let every God be damned, every one of them. I have no respect of any God, period. He said, not man, but this Jewish 13th month, where is that in Torah? Where is that concerning or the emphasis of that by your God? Tell me. Not of man. Nevertheless, the Hebrew calendar does continue to work as it has for millennium without needing any tweaks. That's a lie. That's Mr. Le Pen. That is a lie. That is factually a lie. You know it hasn't. These things have been added. Months have been added. Let me proceed just a little farther. May I? I will. I want to show us 13 facts concerning the Hebrew leap year. This deals with the 13th month. Nation, please. I have no scholarship but what Yah has revealed in this book to me. It doesn't take a scholar to understand the simplicity of this book. And I'm one that has been dedicated all basically my life from a young man married. In all my ignorance, there was a passion and a desire to understand the importance of Torah. Things that I learned as a young man, young child. I come to realize that they were all lies. The first day, the Christmas, I'm adamant against those lies. The 4th of July, I don't say I know one of my color, of my hue as the Hebrew, could even participate in any of that. They butchered millions of Hebrews that were here before you, slave man. You slave heritage, slave man. They butchered them. And even you Hebrew Israelite gives very little credence to those that the world has called them Indians. They butchered them. And they called that a day of Thanksgiving for the white folks. And you will sit down to a pallet of chitlin, hog maw, turkey breast, you will sit down and gobble up that filth? Well, my mama do, but I'm a Hebrew. I don't celebrate that. You're a flat out demon from hell. You're a liar. You're a flat out liar. They can go to mama's house and sop some chitlin gravy. I wouldn't even eat in a house that they have pork, chitlins, and pork chop, not me, and lobsters, and shrimpies, and catfish. I wouldn't eat in no house like that. Nah. My diet consists of the clean foods. You got some beef steak? Not where they got alligator steaks. But we will do that. We have no qualms or shame of doing that. I will not do it. I didn't do it for my mother or no one. My natural family turned against me, all of them, because I will not denounce the power of this truth. I damn their Christmas. I damn their Halloween. I damn all of their lies. And one of the things my aunt said to me, well, son, baby, your mama's been doing this all her life. I said, I'm not here to stop her. She can celebrate the dog day, the Christmas day, the birthdays, the whole days, the slut days. I will not. I'm not here to circumvent her, but you will not impose those lies on me. I'm not celebrating one of them. I haven't celebrated a birthday all these years. I really haven't. It's a blessing to be alive today for me, to be healthy, and I believe I am. Haven't been to a doctor. I don't let just some homo feeling on me. I ain't feeling that. You can. I don't go that way. And I'm not trying to compel you. This is the way I live. This is the way I live. You can do your thing. I'm going to do the thing that YAH has commanded me, that's placed in my lap. Let me get to this quickly. I want to read this because this is one of the most prominent websites there is when it comes to the Jewish religion. It says there are 13 factual, proven declaration of the year, or the new year, or the leap year. It says this: YAH commanded us, it says the word God, commanded us to observe the Passover in the spring. That's a lie. He gave you a time and season. When they came out of bondage, it was that time of the year. The first month never changed. And they enjoyed that as they traveled from Mithraim through the harshness of the weather. He brought them to that beautiful, lustful, and luscious growth. Food everywhere. Berries on their journey they could pick and eat. He commanded the people to observe the feast in the spring. Let me see. Where is that found? I simply ask anyone to tell me what that, where you find that in Torah. I'm not going to fight you. I just want to know. Show me where that is found. Show me where that is found. Please, someone, will you call me area code 704-627. I don't even know the number. Just call me. Just please call me. Please. I don't see where y'all told us that. I see where the Moabites in 2nd Melachim, it talks about Elisha when he died and buried the band of Moabites invaded the land in the coming year of the spring of, but that's, the word is not even enunciated in the old KJV. Fact of the matter. And it's not talking about springing up from a place, but it's not. It's about the spring of the year. Where is it found? Please, someone tell me that this is when the word is macho. I know what the word is, macho. It talks about the springing or the fountains that flow or the source of life and joy. I know that's in there. I know all those things in there because I'm a student. And I ever want to be a master. It says here in one of the declarations, a part of the first mitzvah of the Jew, this is what Menachem Shirson, this is what they imply. Unlike the Gregorian or the Julian leap year, in which an extra day is added, the Jewish calendar leap year adds an entire extra month. Man, that is so beautiful. What lies? Show me where Yah says there's an extra month to be added. You can't answer that. You know you can't. And so if you can answer that, there must be evidence of proof. Then you buy a lie. Isn't that factual? You know it's a lie. You know the 13th month is a fact, and all lies shall have their demise in Sheol. Yah hates every liar. He doesn't like liars. We can lie with such ease. Something is sick in your mind. Well, I don't want to discuss it with you. That's what I learned from my daddy. Your daddy didn't know, nor did he have the information, nor did he have the ability to research things like we have today. This is much more effective than me having to catch the bus 40, 45 years ago to go to the library downtown, uptown, Center City, Charlotte. And I would do that. And buying books, much easier here, free. It says one of the third laws of this extra month, it is 3, the third rule. On the secular calendar, the date drift by 1 day per year. So January the 1st is on a Sunday. Look at this now. This year, it will be on a Monday next year, and so on. The events, well, even in your set calendar, you try to keep Pesach, your Passover, between April or the latter part. It's based upon just one determination. That is the vernal equinox. It's based upon that. Period. Sunday. So it gives us this diatribe. That's what it does. So because the regular year, it's that way, but the enlarged year of the Jewish calendar, the Jewish leap year is known as the Shana Ubrat, a pregnant year. Where is that in Torah? Show me anywhere. From Bereshit, from Genesis to Revelation, where the word pregnant year is pronounced. Please, someone. I'm an ignorant man. I have no compunctions. Show me that. This is, of course, does not apply to the additional month added to the Jewish calendar. The Jewish leap year is known as Shana Ubrat, a pregnant year, or perhaps more popularly, an enlarged year, since it is temporarily enlarged for that use. Show me where in Torah it talks about an enlarged year or month, an added month. Ask the few of us, please. We have been beguiled. And we've been beguiled because of our own ignorance, just like Adam and Eve. She was beguiled, and he beguiled, and she beguiled him. Number 5, the 5th principle. It was done by the central court. I want to read precisely what is written here. Declaring a leap year was the domain of the highest of the rabbinical court. The Sanhedrins, according to Rabbi Meir, it was conducted by a panel of 3 judges. Rabbi Ben Gamel, however, taught that 3 sages would begin the conversation. 2 more would be joined in the deliberation, and another 2 were added for the final declaration. The sage, those that have the power to apply meanings to what Yah says. When he says no, it doesn't mean no. there's a possibility, and that interpretation must deal with all the nuances of no. There's only one interpretation of no in every language. But this is the corruption that, and I'm on the Jewish website, the Lubavitch Rabbinical Web. This is the sixth principle. The sage were expert astronomers. My, you don't have to be an expert astronomer to understand the moon phases. Child, our children know that. They look for that moon every month. The primary factor which overrode all others was that the spring, see, this is what it's all about. That one word, spring equinox. And every, what they call their feast day, is always after. They don't realize the pagan application that they are here to. This is what he says. The primary factor which overrode all others, all over the word of YAH. This is a crazy generation of people. Was the spring equinox. That is so sad, nation. The spring equinox. If it were to fall later than the first half of Nisan, in other words, on the 16th or later, then the year was automatically declared a leap year. This is why you get the 13th month. Has nothing to do with Torah. Yah did not ordain this. He did not command this nation. These are lies. But yet you will still be satisfied with the lie, and you will project that. Instead of doing it the way Yah, we have been lied to, nation. I have been lied to. I have lied because of my ignorance. There was no intention to deceive the people. But I wanted to know the truth. I'm glad of internet for even this. I don't use it for nothing but studying, encyclopedia, and searching the RAM of many things all over the world. I can. And that's what I use it for. Number 7, the law of all 7 being that perfect law, it says this. There were other factors too. Excuse me, nation. The Sanhedrins also consider several non-season related factors. Look at this. If the roads or bridges were in distant repair due to the winter rainy season, for example, that would impede the ability of the pilgrims to travel to Jerusalem for Passover, declaring a leap year. That's, this is so, you got to be gullible to about this. Would give crew time to get everything done, but it had to happen every third year, 2 or 3 years. This is so untrue. The 9th principle is this. Listen carefully. You that may stumble upon this, you can go to our website, Yahweh's Sword. I have many, many teachings on this. I simply ask your scholars to show me in Torah that what I'm reading is factual. A 13th month. They don't want to deal with that to say, well, it's not a 13th. I've had them say, it's not a 13th month. Well, it is. You can't disprove that. All this is from the etiquette of Jewish scholarship. I've never heard a Hebrew Israelite address this. I've never. Look at this, the 9th principle. It can be a year of 385 days, 384, and 383. I've already put together the season or the time for the next until 2050 because they don't look at the moon. We look at the moon to determine our feast days. It's based on the vernal equinox. That's just factual. And the moon, after that, then it's okay. So you're going to have feast days that are 385 days, 384 days, 383. The longest possible year is 385 days. At times, however, a leap year can be only 383 days. because of the month of Sheshvain or Kislev can each have 29 or 30 days. They use the calendar for that. They use the moon for those days because that's factual. But then they add their lies to it. And we buy it. Foolish men. And then number 10, almost like the commandments of Yah. Number 10, contracts can be complicated. What does stop that? But this is the bylaw of the Lubavitch. Chabad, I didn't put this here. Don't get upset with me. It says this. In a rental contract, specifically a price per year, and then a leap year was declared, the 13th month was included in that set rent. If the contract specified the price per month, however, the 13th month must be paid for separately. If this is not insane, it is just flat out ignorant. In the event that the contract listed both 100 per month, 1,200 a year, for example, the renter is also at a disadvantage that he must pay for the 13th month. Wow. Wow. The 11th command of the 13th month. It says this. How does a 12-month calendar suddenly becomes a 13th month long? The last month of the year, Adar, becomes Adar 1 and Adar 2. It is questionable which Adar is considered the Adar. All agree. However, that Purim, held annually on Adar 14 and 15, is celebrated at Adar 2. So that is just a month short away from Passover. Your help, your people, deliver them from every corruption. I don't give out the stand alone, and I do. Very few embrace me. I'm all right with that. I would love to be loved by many. I will love fellowship. I do. We have homes that no one lives in them. Beautiful homes. Beautiful place. Raised food and all. I was working today, as I spoke in the beginning, on a piece of property that adjacent with this large, I call it a lake. I had Yosipi, our son, with me. He said, Papi, they call me Papi. I have no biological children. And he says to me, Papi, this is not a pond. This is a lake. I say, that's what it is, son. I would say that lake is minimum, probably about 60 acres. I could have gotten that for 200, it was 310,000 or 260,000, I recall. And I said to myself, in some ways, I'm sad that I did not engage with the community here with the construct of government, because there was one that wanted me to be a part of the co-op. That wasn't my thing. He said, Preacher, you're the only one that can articulate. I said, there are many young black men here that can speak with a volume greater than mine. He said, no, sir, I've been here all my life. I know what's here. At that time, we had, I believe, 900 people in the city of Jefferson. He said, I'm the president of the co-op, of the telephone co-op. I want to bring you on. I have the power to do that. I said, no, not me. I said, there are too many other men of our hue that are qualified and capable, educated, much more of a school dropout. Stop it. He said, no, preacher, I want you to come. I can get you on now. He said, the only thing you have to do, preacher, 4 times a year, we have to go D.C. and lobby Congress. And the other 3 times we go to different cities throughout the United States. The Arizonas, the Miamis, Californias, the San Frans. He said, we go there. He says, and I'm telling you, preacher, the way where we stay, they put us up in the finest. Pretty damn money, we eat at the finest of restaurants. Take our telephone bill down, spending that kind of money. And I said, Mr. Leroy, I got things that are vitally more important than that. And to that point, I kind of hate that I did not engage in certain things, because YAH has always given me favor with men, from the poorest of poor like me to the very wealthiest. You'd be surprised the millionaires in a little town like this. And I can say with all honesty, I didn't laugh and play and bull jive with them. I don't do that with no man. The only one I play with is my wife. I don't play with the Zakim, the Achim, the daughters. I hate that in the sense of that. He said, preacher, come on. Just come on and just be a part of it. Man, you're polished. You can get that done. You're eloquent in your speech. I said, I don't want it. I didn't come here to be a politician. And men like Ted Vick and men like Billy Jenkins and Billy Jordan, these people, we bought land from Billy Jordan that we own in another location. We have 9 pieces of property. It's not mine. I got it set up for the people. I have no biological children. They're not going to be, wicked son and a whorish daughter trying to tell the people, that's my daddy land. Y'all can't stay here. No, that ain't going to happen here. Period. It's amazing because the lawyer did all the work free. He said, preacher, he pulled up everything. I didn't have to take no piece. Okay. Ted Vick, very wealthy, was a 33-year-old millionaire. I met him. He wanted to help me. He took me to one of his properties. He said there were beautiful homes on that, nice double wides and all that, on the northern line of North and South Carolina. He said, all I want you to do, he said, just fix them up. Do what you have to do. Rent them out. You give me half of the money. You keep half of the money. I like that white boy. I can cry about him. Very kind man. Very kind man. I like that white boy. Honest and sincere. He was an honest man. And I liked him much. And I called them nothing but violent hypocrites. It caused that man to be cast away from here because of a small indiscretion where there was no sexual application to it. I said to one your preacher is a wicked dog. I said, you don't say anything when they do it in these whorehouses. And you all did that man like that. I love that white boy. Yeah, I did. He wanted to help me. He wasn't trying to get anything from me. He wanted to help me. His mother I met his mother. She had a boutique here in Chorro that you would think you're walking in Times Square, New York, or some chic place in Los Angeles. It was, I'm telling you, his daddy was a millionaire. He became a millionaire at 33 years old, and he owned everything. He had to move so far away from us because he was ashamed, but he was a very kind man to me. I recall him one day, and I want to finish this. He had a 1955 Bel Air. He says to me, I drive this car for me. I say, man, Ted, I'm not driving that car. He said, man, get in this car. It's nothing but a car. That was his attitude. And I got in the car. He knew every politician because he was one. He knew every money maker because he was a money maker. He's the one that sold us the land across the street from us. Very kind man. And he financed it. And I paid him what I could. He said, preacher, you don't have to worry about this land being taken back from you. You got it. If you don't, You don't have to be arrogant with people and try to prove yourself that you're some kind of this humankind. He was that kind of a genuine man. And I've seen the Caucasians and all help me. They were kind to me. Our finances land for you, preacher. You pay me when you can. You make the payment when you got it. And every deed is certified. Everything is done righteously. They didn't understand what we were doing. Well, there's a cult down there. They eat people. I got up in one's face. I was 265 pounds then. I was a monster of a man. I lift weights. I was strong as a bull. And I went to buy a vehicle, and we're going to close it, but let me tell you this story. I went to buy a truck from him. And Billy Jenkins was this huge 450-pound man, millionaire. So I went to his car lots. I wanted to buy the truck because he had one I wanted. It was an old truck, but it was nice. And he had this assumption concerning us that, man, them folks eat people down there. I'm 265, 75 pounds. I was a big man, not no 250. And I wasn't fat. I lift weights every day. And I sat down in the chair across from him, right in front of him. And he said this to me, well, I heard y'all eat people down there. I slid my chair up. I put my arms on his desk, and I got right in his face and his eyes. I said, Billy Jenkins is a big boy, isn't he? He just left our place. 400 pounds plus some meats. He would have been a nice one to eat, would he not have been? I could see the fear in his eyes. And he looks at me and said, preach, I tell you what. He said, I'll give you a better deal. See, y'all gave me favor with him. And I did business with him. He said, I'll tell you what, preacher, this is what I'll do for you. He wasn't doing this for everyone. He said, we'll go down to the sales. You pick out what you want. I will bid. I will get it for you. And this is what he said, quote, and I lie to you, not nation. Just let me make a little money off of it. All right, will you do that? I extended my hand and gave him a handshake. Go down to his house. I would get stuff, not only buy stuff from him, but there would be free stuff. Much that lies within you, you live righteously with every man. You live at shalom. I don't care what a crazy man says. I will deal with that. Two more I want to read, all right? The 12th law is the 60th day of joy. Our sage says when Adar enters, we increase in joy. Increase in joy every day. An additional Adar means that there is so much more joy. That sometimes some things are worth celebrating. So these are the constructs of the 13th month. You got one Adar, you got 30 days of joy. You got a second one, you got 60 days. Well, I got 365 days in your lunar solar year of joy. In YAH's time, in his lunar year. I got joy every day. No problem override me. Let me read the last one, and we're going to close here. The 13th is we have tons more for you to read about the Jewish leap year. Where does the Torah says a Jewish leap year? There is not even a J in the construct of the language, the Hebrew people. I can see a Yahudim leap year, but a Jewish leap year. It says this, that was all just a taste. Want to learn more about the leap year is significant. And the application, here are some of the articles you can explore on the Jewish leap year in depth. The leap year explained, the celebration of my birthday on a leap year, You got a 13th month a year. Oh, they got answers for everything. I'm going to stop the nation. This is sad that we have come to this delusional process that's full of lies. We buy them. We relish in these lies. And you're afraid to deal with honesty. So they can feed you these lies in these gatherings. It's the 13th month from last year. Make me a liar. Make me a liar, any of you. From 2023 till 2024. From your Passover, the 23 year to the one in 2024, it was 383 days. Count it and see. I said to a man that his father was one of the pioneers of the name and the feast days. Well, you can't tell me my father. I said, well, count the days then. And when he gave me the dates, I counted them. I said, your feast days from 2023 to 2024 was 383 days. I said, answer that for me. Well, they can answer, so they become unhinged. So you want to debate a lie? I will not debate a lie, nation. I will not. I will not allow any man to run those lies on me and try to command me. I said to this man, well, let's discuss it then. No. The reason he didn't want to discuss it because he's a coward. I don't care who you are. You're a coward. You are a flat out coward of a human. You will allow a lie. You will teach a lie. You know it's a lie to the people. You will feed them lies. Whereby there's no mention of that time in Torah. You're an evil man. You men are evil. You lying Hebrew Israelites, you white ones, you black ones. These are lies. You Baptists, you Methodists, you Yahweh congregation of lies, and you hold this prescription. I know what I'm saying, nation. I got the feast days that I'm going to post them from Jewish websites of all degrees until 2040. And you're going to see every 2 years, the third year, that's a 383, 384, 385 day year. That's factual. We have been lied to. We have been raped in our minds. And we have been raped and the condition of that, it has left us in such a dysfunctional mode of thinking. Well, I don't want to hear it. So it's not real. It's real, my friend. As the old proverb, the folks in my community say, you give the devil a ride, he's going to drive. Examine what I said tonight. Challenge me. I want you to. Challenge me, please. These are lies that have been taught. Go to those that you trust and ask them to explain that. Take your 2023 year to 2024, count it, please, and see how many days pass. 383 days. I'm not a newbie when it comes to this nation. I wasn't born yesterday. I'll be 70 years old soon. Real soon. I'm not a young boy, period. Please do that. You that have joined me tonight, you that may hear that. Look from 2023 to 2024 and see how many days pass. It was 383 days. Is that a year? Is that a lunar solar year? Was it a lunar year? Was it a solar year? They have lied to you. May the riches of Yah rest upon you, all my friends, my enemies. I have no enemies with that. I have created that I will call you my enemy. So my enemy, I love you because if you're my enemy, then you need some water and some bread. So I'm giving you the lecture of Almighty Yah. I say to you, my friends, Yah's will be back tomorrow night. I will, talking on the same subject. So may Yah's riches cause his delight to fill your heart with the abundance of his truth. Teach your family, man. Examine what I said. All I say to you, any one of you, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong out of Torah, not out of an opinion, some writing of some. You haven't spent as much time as I have in those things like that. I'm just being honest. I know you haven't. That doesn't diminish your ability or anything, but you have not. You have not. And that's factual. You have not spent the time I have, the many years debating how to bring this to the people. That many, and they turn, all of them turn against me. I'm not sad. I'm satisfied with what YAH has done. So be encouraged. Stand by the strength of the testimony of Yeshua HaMashiach. And we say to you, all our friends that have joined us tonight, Yabaruch, and may his blessings and his riches fill your heart today. Shabbat Shalom.